I'm David Brockbank. We're responsible, my family's been responsible for this site for probably well over 100 years now. I'm not quite sure when my grandfather got involved with it. But I'm standing here on the banks of the River Kent. The River Kent is really important for us, and the river's really important for us because it used to power the wood turning industry that we had here, and it still powers the water turbines now, which produce electricity. There's been a mill here since about 1600, when it was a woolen fulling mill, where they used to wash the wool from the sheep that was the main production in the area. And then in about 1830 we changed into making cotton reels for the Lancashire cotton trade. But the main reason there was industry here is because of the river. The River Kent apparently is the most powerful river in England. It falls the greatest height in the shortest distance. And there used to be 30 mills all the way down the Kent that used the water power. And we, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, we're the last one left that actually has the capability of using the water power. And with water turbines, it now provides about 10 to 15% of our electricity requirements. In about 1900, the cotton reel industry was sort of diminishing a bit, so we diversified into making wooden tool handles, and we used indigenous timbers, and we still were using the water power, which was directly driven from a big water wheel that was in the mill to drive the wood turning lathes. We made a huge amount of pick handles and shovel handles during the wars. We supplied shunting poles to British Rail, and we supplied the mines with all their pick handles and all the rest of it. We then started importing timber because there wasn't the sort of quantities that we required here in the UK. And by about the 1980s, 1990s, we were actually the largest wooden tool handle producer in Europe. We had automatic computer-controlled lathes that could produce a hammer handle in under 10 seconds. And we were employing about 50, 60 people up till about the 1990s. Unfortunately, we found out that we could actually buy the finished product in from the Far East and from Brazil cheaper than we could buy the wood, and then we'd have to try and manufacture the finished product here. So the writing was on the wall really that we should be moving the manufacturing out to the Far East and to South America, and that left us with a large site here in the Lake District, 4 acres in the middle of a village. And I thought, well, do I get planning permission to turn it into houses, in which case I wouldn't be here in front of the camera. I would be in the Caribbean somewhere sunning myself on the profit made from that. Or do we try and replace the jobs that were lost in manufacturing here in a small village with other jobs? So we produced a master plan. The master plan was a combined scheme of retail, of industrial, but mainly industrial sort of non-tourist related jobs, and a little bit of housing for locals that were struggling to actually find housing in the village. When we were doing the wood turning, there were 100 people working here in 1890. I have a picture of them all. And now, when we've just finished this next phase, we'll have over 400 people working here. So we're busier now than we ever have been at the height of the Industrial Revolution. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to hear yourself speaking here because it used to be full of wood turning lathes. I learnt to set and operate a lathe, and Robin here also worked a lathe. And now we're doing something much more pleasant of pulling and drinking beer, which is a good change to have. But it's just great that this use is taking place in somewhere that used to be really hard work, didn't it, Robin?
It did.
It did.